This is one of two standards that we have remaining for the school year, and then we will have covered all the fifth grade material. This standard is an extension of G1. G1 basically said that we understood how to plot points on the coordinate plane, and that we understood what the parts of the coordinate plane were, such as this is the x-axis because it runs horizontally. This is the y-axis because it runs vertically. The x-coordinates are the first ones in a set of parentheses. The y-coordinate is the second number. It tells us how far to go up. Today we are going to work on G2, which says that we can represent real-world mathematical problems by graphing points in the first quadrant, which means all the numbers are positive, of the coordinate plane, and interpret coordinate values of points in the context of the situation. So basically, that just means that we take the parts that we learned about last week and we apply those in some sort of a context. So today I've kind of given us a road trip context that we can plot on this coordinate grid. So as you can see, you have a table over here, and the table has days of the week and it has miles driven each day. We are going to plot that information onto the coordinate grid. Now, notice that on my x-axis down here, I have abbreviations for the days of the week. I don't have numbers. Sometimes you might see this. I know there's a question on your pre-test and post-test for Unit 7 that have words down here, and sometimes it throws kids off, so I just use that as an example today. These could easily be changed to be day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. It wouldn't make any difference as to what the graph would look like. So remember that your x values may not always be a number. Okay, so if I want to plot these values on my graph, I have the days of the week, that's going to be my x coordinate, and the miles driven each day, that's going to be my y coordinate. So I'm going to plot those points just as I would anything else. So the first one is Monday, and we went 75 miles. So I'm going to go over to Monday, up to 75, and I'm going to put a dot. Simple. Make sure you're plotting your points at the intersection of the line and not in the center. On Tuesday, we went 125 miles. So I'm going over to Tuesday and up to 125. Wednesday, 50 miles. Thursday, 100 miles. Friday, 150 miles. And finally, Saturday, 75 miles. Okay, so the first part of the standard says that you can plot the points on the graph. The second part of the standard says that you can interpret the coordinate values in the context of a situation, which basically means, can you answer questions about the data that you're looking at? So I wrote a couple of questions down, which may represent questions that you might see based on a coordinate grid. The first one says, on what day were the most miles driven? Now, I can easily cheat over here and look at this table, right? But the purpose of this task is not to be able to just look at the table, but to also look at the graph and see that the highest dot on my graph represents the most miles driven. So on what day was the most miles driven? This is the highest point on my graph, so that's going to be on Friday. The task cards that you have to do on Wednesday will look a lot like these questions, that you'll be given a graph and you'll be asked to answer questions about them. What are the coordinates for Saturday? So I want to think about, what does this coordinate look like as an ordered pair? So my x value is going to be Saturday, and my y value is going to be 75. So it would literally be Saturday, comma, 75. What are the two x coordinates for 75 miles? So I'm looking for, what's the x value where I have a dot at 75 for the y value? And the first one I see is Monday. And the second one I see is Saturday. So those are the two places where the y value is 75, on Monday and on Saturday. The last question says, what are the total miles driven? So not only could you come to the chart and add up the total miles here, but you could also look at the chart, read the information, and be able to add those values together. So if I have 75 plus 125, that's going to give me 200, plus 50, that's going to give me 250, plus 100, that's 350, plus 150 more, that's going to be 500, plus the 75. It's going to give me 575 miles. All right, guys, I hope that that helped you understand what a context on a coordinate grid might look like. You are going to practice that this week with IXL. That's new to us today. Check your emails for your login information. You are also going to practice that on Khan Academy, and you have some task cards that will be taken for a grade. So make sure you do things in order so that you've learned how to do this before you try to do the task cards. That will be our grade, and we'll finish off our week on Thursday with Illuminate Week 28 quiz. So let me know what questions you have, and I have a question for you. I want you to tell me in the comments below the video which day had the least miles driven. Thanks, guys. Bye.